says, "Are young people finally pushing back against celebrity worship and sellouts? You'll love to see it." So this came with an attachment. Let me see if it will share with you guys. Okay, so that's the first attachment it comes with. I think it came with two. Yeah, it came with two. So this is the first one. This is from Kirko. It says NBA YoungBoy explains his "Make America Slime Again" album title. He says, "Follow whatever Trump applying in every way, enforce whatever Trump's applying. That's it." So let's watch the short video before I show the next attachment.
The message "Make America Slime Again." Like, what does that title mean to you?
I mean, follow whatever Trump applying.
Follow whatever Trump applying.
Yeah.
What in what way? Like
in every way.
Well, Trump pardoned you, got you off house arrest.
I don't know nothing about that.
What you mean? Did you ever speak to him about, like, did you ever have a...
No, nothing about that.
Right. Okay. But the album's name, Make America Slime Again. The tour is named Make America Slime Again.
It was, the name was like, it's just to enforce whatever Trump applying. That's it.
Have you ever met Trump?
Why do you keep that?
Because you got me thinking right now. Why be like... Okay, all right, fair. But we at Slime Cry now.
That interview oddly reminds me of a Lil Wayne interview.
Message "Make America Slime"
from a few years ago. Let's check and see if there's any other attachment to this tweet. Someone tweeted and said, "This your favorite rapper with this face on," which is kind of funny. Like I said, this came with two attachments. Let me make sure I got the next one lined up. This came with two attachments. The second attachment is also to Twitter. It says it's from Raindrops Media. It says, "After the recent trend of many rappers co-signing Trump, woman says she's done listening to NBA YoungBoy. She says she would have stayed on house arrest after he told his viewers to follow Trump's lead. She added, 'They don't give a fuck about us. I don't know why we're putting money in their pockets.'" Let's listen to this from the lady.
And the way that YoungBoy got his ass on an interview with his slow ass, and I love YoungBoy, but he got me messed up. So yes, he's slow. I'm not supporting anymore. Like you did what you had to do, YoungBoy. I really do appreciate you for making my teen years fun in my 20s, but I'm done. This was my last straw with these black celebrities. I'm done with y'all. Y'all are some fucking sellouts. Some sellouts. Y'all will do anything for the white man's money. Anything for some change. All good money ain't good money. Y'all will do anything. Y'all will literally harm the community. Put yourself first. I don't know why we even support these people, y'all, anymore. They don't give a fuck about us. I don't know why we are putting money in their pockets. This nigga went on a fucking platform telling, I know most of the majority of the audience, like, they know who to fucking target, bro. Majority of the audience is young black men. You're telling young black men to apply Trump's ideologies and shit. What the fuck, bro? This shit is sad. This shit is sad, bro. I don't even know why I even continue to even listen to these rappers anymore. Y'all are all some fucking sellouts. Y'all are coons. Just some coons. We don't need to put, y'all, I'm so serious. We don't need to put money in these people's pockets anymore. These black people who constantly let us down and let us know they are not for us. They are for the white people. They don't care about us. They do not. And I'm not going to lie, watching that video of YoungBoy being slow as hell, you're 26, you're literally my age, being slow as fuck on drugs. Like, these are not even the people we need to even be following anymore. Shit, your ass even look drugged out on the damn interview, and then you telling people to fucking listen to Trump. Are you serious? Nicki Minaj already canceled in my book. I'm ready. I'm done with all these black celebrities because y'all show us every day y'all don't care about us. Y'all are some sellouts. Stop putting money in these people's pockets. They need to learn some shit. They need to learn lessons. Young boy, you were better off just being on house arrest, man. You didn't have to do that shit. Now look at your ass. You about to lose some fucking fans, and I'm one of them.
Very interesting video. We need to get to her
And the way that
ASAP
young boy
to offer a little bit of more political education. Let me see what this attachment is talking about here as well.
These sellout coon rappers are one of the reasons why a lot of black folks don't trust these rich black celebrities, because they'll do anything to get in with these rich, wealthy white crowds. Like Nicki Minaj, 50 Cent. It's over. These sellout coon rappers are one of the reasons
see them going under the label of liberals. There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. You take him for a friend.
So the last video I played was a response. I thought it was a quote of Malcolm warning black folks not to listen to celebrities, not to follow celebrities. But I realize now that they were trying to counter the idea of Trump, which I see a lot of black folks doing, countering this idea of what Trump is doing with some of the same shit that, say, an Obama did or Biden or whoever, like immigration, for example. So that's what that last video was. But at least we got those two videos that talked about the youth not really rocking with some of the celebrities that they're being, shown, like NBA Youngboy and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, that NBA Youngboy video reminded me a lot of Lil Wayne video where this Negro was sitting there, eyes bucking, talking about me. I don't see color. I don't see police brutality and all this kind of stuff, man. Real wild stuff, man. But let me throw it to my panelists before I yap a little too much. I see your comments in the chat. I'm going to read them out in a second. Shout out to Forecast, who's with us, Brother Bakari, who's with us, and like I said, Afro Native World and Sister Cheryl. Kofi, what are your thoughts on what you saw from these young folks?
The word celebrity means to celebrate. So I don't know any, look, we're about the same age. I don't know any rapper of note nowadays to celebrate. I'm coming from the era of Public Enemy with Chuck D, Sister Soldier, X-Clan. You know, people within their lyrics and their raps were real Pan-Africans, were really about unity, calling out the government, calling out corruption. Those people, or you celebrate, those are people who stood with the Nation of Islam on Khalid Muhammad. Those were people that you're able to celebrate. There's no rappers around right now that, that I would consider a real celebrity that I need to celebrate. I just don't care about them at all like that. But I mean, I'm glad to see that the young people are getting wise to the game, getting wise to the bait and switch. Nicki Minaj, saying she had a pedo brother. She was here undocumented, and I saw like, okay, obviously she wants to get something out of it. You know what I'm saying? And Dr. Umar said something that that rings a bell right now. He was on the Breakfast Club, and he says you got to know the difference between a Negro and a coon. He says a Negro, doesn't know any better. He doesn't know any better. He's just going to status quo. He thinks Jesus is white. He just thinks white people are better. A coon knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing is wrong, but they're doing it because it only benefits them. It doesn't matter if the other people get thrown under the bus as long as they get what they want. So people like Nicki Minaj, NBA YoungBoy, and all these people, they're straight up coons because we know they know better. Now, a Negro to me would be Kanye West. Lord for the apology to black people. Kanye West, there's a lot wrong with him right now. You know what I'm saying? So to me, Kanye West is more of a Negro than a coon. So, but I'm glad that, you know what I'm saying, we have hopefully this is representative of a significant of young people who are into rap music and these celebrities right now, just saying like, hey, oh wow, you know, I see your game. This is horrible. You're undermining us. Okay, it's one thing to just want to be a rapper. It's not like in the 60s, you know, saying here in America or in the 80s here in America, you got celebrities, but you know what I'm saying, you have Harry Belafonte as part of the civil rights movement. You know, you had a lot of blacks like on Paul Robeson. You had a lot of musicians, Billie Holiday. You have a lot of very, very noteworthy black musicians and actors who was like, you know what? I'm gonna be involved politically. I have a voice now. So because I have a voice, let my voice be the voice representative of my people. We're not our ancestors. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. But in this regard, when it comes to celebrities, we're not our ancestors at all. One thing I'll say before going. So the whole thing with Malcolm X saying that, I understand that, but I kind of, when people use Malcolm X and they use his quotes and things like that, you have to understand what Malcolm are we talking about. We're talking about Malcolm during the time when he was Elijah Muhammad, or we're talking about the Malcolm when he left the Nation of Islam. So in this case, when he's talking about the liberals, we're talking about before the Southern strategy, right? And when it comes to politics, when I go back to Guyana, or when you go to Barbados, or you go back to Jamaica or whatever, we could be conservative. Conservative means to conserve. You cannot be a black person in America, right, and be conservative. Conserve in what? You're conserving the American ideology and a way of life, right? So for you to be if you're not a white, straight Christian man, it makes no sense for you to be freaking conservative. That's why we have amendments. That's why we have bills and stuff like that. Why? Because it's only for those people and those people alone. So when I hear people, black people and African people say, and they're in America and they're talking about American politics and say, well, I am a conservative. Okay, you're just a coon ass nigga then. What are you conserving? You cannot take your ideas and principles from your homeland and say, well, you know, I can apply it here. That's why, and I've said this many a time, that's why you have to understand what is the job of the United States. Muhammad Ali had an interview that said, what would you do? I think it was about the Vietnam War. What would you do? Would you ever want to be the president of the United States? And Muhammad Ali said, no, I don't want to be the president of the United States. I don't want that. I don't want that job, because he understands what the job entails. It doesn't matter who you put as president. I don't care if they triple black. I don't care if they're checkered, polka dot, lily white, or midnight. The job remains the same. And it's pretty much it. Good topic.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for that, Kofi. Let me hit the chat real quick, because I didn't hit the chat as well last time. Again, Brother Bakari says, peace and Black African power, Black African family. Shout out to you. Cheryl earlier asked if he said slum or Islam. He said slime. That was the title of his album. Shout out to Forecast, who's shouting at me, the panel, and the chat. Forecast says they are on Nicki Minaj's neck too. Yeah, a lot of people mentioned she was undocumented, but that's a long time ago. I don't know why she's doing what she's doing now. Sister Cheryl believes her boyfriend or husband or whatever got caught up with some law stuff, and that's why she's selling out. We'll see. The matron says, I think that young people are so deprived of resources that they cannot respect people that can be bought. They understand that if you can be bought, then you can be sold and are still a slave. That's a very interesting comment. I like that comment. That's something to look into. Is there a shift in thinking because things are so bad out now in terms of resources for young black people? That's very interesting. Afro-Native World says entertainers with political miseducation miss the greats like Muhammad Ali. You know, when you mentioned Muhammad Ali in the chat earlier, when I saw this comment earlier, it made me think of TK Carson. Shout out to TK Carson. I should have shouted him out a week or two ago, but he passed away. He was a comedian, popular on TV when I was a kid. And one of the things I remember from him is doing this spot-on Muhammad Ali impression. So RIP to that brother. Sister Cheryl says, it's amazing how it takes Trump to be in office for y'all to even give a damn. Because if this was Obama, it would be different. It would be a different story. Afternoon World says Obama got too many passes. He says Obama is under that liberal category too, by the way. After the Forecast Radio says back then hip hop with a message and knowledge and black power. I feel like the old man now talking about they don't make music like they did back in the day. He's referring to the artist Kofi was listing off. I saw another comment that I thought was a good one, but I'll have to come back to it. Yes, Sister Cheryl says, yeah, that conservatism only really makes sense if you're a white Christian woman. With that said, man, Buana, what say you to Shoot the Breeze topic number 2?
Me personally, I'm sorry that the young people having an opportunity to meet their heroes. They usually say, never meet your heroes, because your heroes, when you get close to them, you'll see a lot of the cracks and flaws, which you don't necessarily see from afar. You could listen to an album or a music, but you have to remember it's art. It's just music. And sometimes it is far from the reality of the artists themselves. Very, very far. I used to be a big Buju Banton fan, huge Buju Banton fan, and sometimes when I hear Buju Banton talk nowadays, I kind of like what the hell is wrong with this guy? He is very, very far from a lot of his songs, very, very far, and it'll disappoint you. It'll really disappoint you, and I'm really sorry that these people who idolize these human beings are getting a dose of how these people really think and feel, especially under this political climate. I'm sorry that they're getting disappointed, but they are wise enough to separate the truth from the lie. Kofi was saying earlier that Kanye West put out an apology, an apology in the Wall Street Journal, apologizing to the Jewish community and secondarily now to the black community for the things he would have said, and he blamed it on mental health. And I'm wondering, okay, so when you go crazy, you become a white nationalist? I just go crazy and start spewing white supremacist rhetoric. It's confusing to me. But like I say, I think that is sometimes you should never meet your idols or people who you may have idolized, or people who you looked up to, because they will really disappoint you. And you have to get your own voice, and you have to get your own purpose, and don't worry about what other people think. These entertainers, you are far from them. You don't know who these people actually are. Some of these people are degenerates, drug dealers, cokeheads, have convictions where they're trying to get out of. You don't know them personally, so don't hatch your eggs in those kind of baskets. You have to look at yourself, maybe people close to you within your community, people who you can actually see on a day-to-day basis in terms of what they're doing, and just put stock in that and follow after that if you're looking for someone to follow. But that's really all I have to say about this, Coco.
Appreciate that. Afro-Native one in the chat asked me, did I say TK Carson? I might have said TK Carson. I meant TK Carter. For those who know who TK Carter is, RIP to him, but he had a spot on Muhammad Ali impression back in the day. Sister Cheryl said if black people are Christian, then it makes sense for them to be conservative, to go hand in hand. So just want to point that out as well.
Coco, quickly, I just wanted to say, you mentioned Matron earlier. Matron wrote an excellent post on her channel, and she is a brilliant sister, absolutely brilliant. Anyone who have time, please, I would just ask you all brothers and sisters who listening to read her post. You know, it's a very, very good post. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I saw the post as well. Sister Cheryl in the chat says we got to remember our people are very vulnerable mentally and psychologically. So the sellouts are byproducts of white religion and white society. I'm gonna let that comment stay up there for a minute. Afro Native World says yes, Black excellent post from our matron. With that said, let me go to RBG. Let me go to Real Black Journal. Real Black Journal, what are your thoughts here?
I think that celebrity is a big part of the problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a contrast celebrate with like cerebrate. You know what I'm saying? Or to be cerebral, right? Because when you're celebrating, you're not being cerebral. You know what I'm saying? You're focusing on the you know what I'm saying? It becomes a claptrap, basically. You're going through the movements, you're going through the ritual. That's what celebration is about. It's about ritual, right? It's about going, you know what I'm saying? You do the thing, you sing the song, you go, you do the same thing, you know what I'm saying? It's not about having contrasting ideas at all. It's about communion, it's about coming together, you know what I'm saying? Going through the rites and all that. But I do think that it's good that young people are definitely thinking about celebrities and people who usually are, you know what I'm saying, foisted upon people, or people who want to emulate what they see as a celebrity until they are in proper celebrity status and they're handled and all that. And then you actually are going through the on stage and doing all the rites and the rituals, and everyone's singing along and going through the words. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you know, if you recite, you know what I'm saying, you know, words in church in a way, you go to constantly recite the words of the song, and you sing along with it. You know, it's kind of the same thing in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? You people, the MC is a master server. You know, I'm just saying in a way. We can once it becomes big, because once it becomes big, you know what I'm saying, our MCs become their MCs, right? That's another way of what I'm trying to say. It's good that young man is putting them on the spot. I mean, look, if I got pardoned, look, I don't know, I would definitely just like lay low and just like, you know what I'm saying, just like, you know, just not rock the boat. Like it you know, I understand like being thankful, but then like I'm not trying to glaze no one. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to glaze no one on nothing, or it's just like, oh, like do everything he says. Like that's not the play. That's just not the play. Like, you know, Trump, even if you got pardoned, he's still worthy of being critiqued. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm trying to get at. It becomes like celebrate me, celebrate the person who got me free, celebrate. And he's putting himself into the whole celebrity aspect. And naturally, when you're celebrating, you're not cerebrating, you're not being cerebral. You know what I'm saying? There's just one difference between celebrate and cerebrate, and that's the L and the R. And honestly, I think what happened is along the way, what became cerebral got lost in the sauce and became cerebral or celebral. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? You can twist around the suffixes and all that, but the root, you know what I'm saying? The root, that celebrate, you know what I'm saying? All that celeb, you know what I'm saying? That is something we got to get away from. I like a good song. I like a good story. You know what I'm saying? I do. I like a good song. I listen to music all the time. I listen to music all day. You know what I'm saying? But you can't, you don't want to meet those people. I don't even want to go to a concert. You know what I'm saying? People, and it's messed up because people on our music, like the music is always better because it's crafted in such a way, you know what I'm saying, with the samples and all that. But when you go to a show, you know, especially if the artist is old and it's not a new artist, you know, they're going to lip sync and they're going to be off tone because their voice done changed over time. And you know what I'm saying? It'll just be a little bit off key just because they're older. And I mean, I was listening to even going back to the verses with cause I watch, you know what I'm saying, the verses with No Limit and Cash Money. I mean, Master P's voice is not what you hear on the CD. It is not. it's just not. And it's it doesn't take people smoke. You know what I'm saying? They drink. They're what I'm saying. Their voice. They sing a lot, so their voice boxes get destroyed. So it's like it's just not the same as what they put it out on that CD sample. You know what I'm saying? That hot mixtape. It's just not the same. We can't be out here. We can't be out here following people and expecting people who we may get a buzz off of from that song to lead our finances, to lead our politics, to lead our health. It's just not the play. The song might make you feel good, but it's not going cure that cough, you know what I'm saying, to get that tumor out of you. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say.
I hope y'all picked up what RBG was kind of putting down there just now. There's some real stuff in that. You guys are worshiping some singer who don't even sound like that in real life, much less what they believe in politically, and you guys are following and hanging off of that. It's just a mess. Sister Cheryl in the chat says, what's the first thing Black people do when they become celebs? They thank Jesus and God and say, with him, all things are possible. It's hard to get far in celeb world if you don't have Christian values. Very interesting thought. With that said, man, Black Steel, you heard everything everyone else had to say. What say you to all of it?
Well, it's about time, and it's not even about Trump per se, although her complaint was about him supporting Trump. But it's just really how the Black celebrities, they just have no concern for the community, and I think a lot of young people don't realize that. But these people will go out there and they'll tell you, make songs about all the worst type of things in the community, and as soon as they get some money, they get their kids out of there, send their kids to private school, So I think that a lot of times we don't hold the people who move against us accountable. It's been so many situations where celebrities, politicians will completely sell out the Black community, and there's no consequences for it. So there's a good chance nothing's going to happen to young boy. There's a good chance Nicki Minaj is going to be okay. Her rep is probably doo-doo in the streets. But but overall, financially, I'm sure he's going to be fine. But I think that these rich rappers and whatnot, they forget that they get their wealth from us. If people were not there supporting them, we wouldn't care. But also, too, they don't really get it from us because after a certain point, it's no longer Black people listen to this music. At this point, it's probably mostly white kids listen to the music now. Now that you think about it, but it was good for me to see some pushback from what he was saying. It said, "Oh, young boy, he the GOAT." No, what makes him the GOAT? Why are you following somebody like this? Excuse me, who is openly hostile towards you and your people and your family? Like, look at Kanye West. I thought his apology was probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Because he's not sorry about any of it. He wants to say, "Oh, I had a traumatic brain injury." That don't make you a racist, buddy. Having a head injury, that being bipolar, does not make you a Nazi. I'm sorry. But think about the list of all the bullshit he's done, from even before the whole thing about Jewish people, the iced out swastika, the Heil Hitler song. He did a lot more stuff towards Black people that we have forgotten. His Confederate flag thing that he did, slavery was a choice, all that other nonsense he was pulling. And now he wants to beg for forgiveness because guess what? Those MAGA people you worship, they don't buy your music. And Nick's gonna find out the hard way too. They don't buy her music. So overall, I think it's a good thing. Maybe the consciousness hasn't been completely extinguished within our people. I find a reason to, I'm always try to be optimist. I'm happy to see that. They're questioning, and then the question is, why are these people so elevated within our community? Who's given them such standings and made them the people we should follow? This drugged out guy who can barely form a complete sentence. Why are we following him in the first place? Or why is his music even popular when he's talking about murdering other Black people? hip hop came from a noble art and a beautiful art, and it's kind of been taken from us. I just think it's very interesting. Young people are finally pushing back on the nonsense. I think that's a good thing. So I'll leave it there. Thanks.
RBG, you wanted to add something?
No, I mean, I agree with what everyone's saying. It's the whole, what winds up happening is it's like a feedback loop, right? You had, again, we can go back to the history of hip hop, history of rap, you know what I'm saying? Different groups coming up. You'll have independent groups who want to sound like the industry guys. Then they get picked up by the industry. If they don't, they're still like self-signed, and they're still like, it's it just goes back to when if someone's bumping something on a sound system, usually it means that it's not like, how would I say it? You have to have it's on the radio, you know what I'm saying? It's on the radio, and if it's on the radio, it's only a couple like it's like iHeartRadio. It's only a couple people who own like the radio, so it's like it becomes a funnel, a bottleneck of like the media, you know what I'm saying, from whatever genre that they want to produce. We don't have any of that. We don't have any independent music, any independent radio stations. That was all cut off in the 90s. So it's just a slow motion of trying to find new, we call them platforms. That word in and of itself, I think is I would love to have a topic on etymology and words, but that's beside the point. The way that we get hoisted onto these platforms and these stages, you know what I'm saying? Everyone then wants to emulate them, and anyone who's speaking in a cerebral counter way, in a way that they want to be celebrated for being righteous, right? For actually coming up with something clever that brings energy to families and the people around them. You know what I'm saying? That it gets put in the background. And until part of it is like not listening to the bad stuff. You got to first do no harm, right? You got to like cut back. You got to just cut back. Then you can start to listen to things. Once you're not consumed, once you're not filled up with bad music, you can start to listen and pay attention to things that are a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? I listen to 50 Cent. I listen to people all the time, but I have to catch myself and listen to a little bit more stuff. Listen a little bit Daru the Jamager. I have to go back and do these things. Otherwise, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get thugged out, and I'm not really that. It wasn't meant for me to be that. I'm not anywhere in that position to even have to have a heroic kind of like defense of myself like that. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
If there's no other last thoughts on this prompt, let's go to Shooter Breeze topic number 3 tonight.